Money Matters with Hongbin Jeong and Chua Chin Chin. The Hot Seat.
Welcome to the Hot Seat, a debate segment where ideas clash and insights spark. I'm your host, Hongbin Jeong. Whether a degree is important has been a hot button issue for years. For decades, it was seen as the golden ticket, a way to prove you'd worked hard and earned your spot in the workforce. But today, skills and real-world experience are starting to matter just as much, if not more. We see it everywhere. Startups hiring self-taught coders, creatives judged on portfolios, trades where hands-on know-how outweighs classroom learning. And yet, many companies still treat degrees as the ultimate measure of ability. So the question is, does a degree still truly matter in today's job market? Does that qualification really open up more doors for better job opportunities? Or are we putting too much faith in a piece of paper? Well, before we dive into this debate and hear from our guests, here's the disclaimer. The views and arguments presented by our interviewees do not necessarily reflect their personal beliefs or opinions. Instead, they are here to provide a fresh perspective on the topic at hand. On that note, if you'd like to send some questions in for our guests, feel free to WhatsApp us at 88550893 or leave a comment on our Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube as we're currently streaming live on those platforms as well. Now, without further ado, joining us today is Dr. Zeng, who is a Senior Relationship Development Manager at OCBC Premier Private Client, who will argue that a degree is vital for better job opportunities. And we also have Ives, independent workforce development consultant, who will try to convince us otherwise. So welcome to the show, both. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
All right. I just want to start off by asking the both of you, in the current landscape, what do you think, companies are looking for in workers right now? Do they look at the skills you've acquired through classes or training, or do they look at your degree and its relevance to the job? Maybe we could start off with Jared?
Yes. So in Singapore, degrees are still the first gate you have to pass through, especially in structured sectors such as banking and finance, healthcare, government, for example. Skills matter, of course, but a degree signals a discipline, capability, and a strong foundation which you have attained through years of hard work. The Job Skills Insights report backs this up. Degree holders typically get better pay, use their skills more, and have more autonomy at work. So employers definitely see degrees not as just pieces of paper, but as proof that you've got the foundations and fundamentals to build on.
Ives, what is your thoughts?
Well, I think companies are really looking for people who can actually do the work, not just looking for papers. But paper is the easy way out, right? It's fast, convenient, but not necessarily the most valid or reliable way to determine whether the person can actually do the job or not. And so it's like a shortcut, and I don't think it reflects a person's true ability.
Definitely. Well, we're discussing this because of the recent Job Skills Insights report. Now, it found that 56% of Singapore workers have more opportunities for job-related training and workplace learning as the workplace transforms. However, it's the degree holders who benefit the most, right? They gain higher skills use, pay, and autonomy compared to non-degree holders. So Ives, if degree holders are the ones gaining more from the same training opportunities, doesn't that suggest that a degree gives you a stronger foundation to actually leverage these opportunities?
Well, I think that is more a perceived value than a proven value. So degree holders may get more opportunities because they are seen as more deserving, because they are supposed to be smarter because they got a degree, right? Not necessarily because they actually perform better at work. So it's almost like some kind of a structural bias against non-degree holders. So the degree holders get opportunities first, or more opportunities, right? And I think a strong foundation can be built in many ways, not necessarily just through a degree program. So it could be through work experience, self-learning, or some other skills-based kind of programs.
Okay, well, given what Ives has just mentioned, Jared, if non-degree holders aren't, advancing despite active workplace learning, doesn't that also prove that we've kind of built a glass ceiling where training alone can't break without a formal qualification?
Exactly, and that's why a degree still matters. Training helps, but higher level roles often requires strategic thinking, analysis, and also theory. So things you usually build through learning from a degree. Especially in Singapore's meritocratic system, a degree is like a passport. Without it, you can travel around Singapore, but it's hard to cross borders to Malaysia in that sense.
Okay, good analogy there. I mean, the report's analysis also found that not all degree holders are highly proficient in literacy and numeracy skills, and not all who are highly proficient in these skills hold degrees. But non-degree holders with strong skills have also seen, minimal improvement, even though their abilities are on par with those of skilled degree holders. So, Ives, doesn't that prove that skills alone don't open doors, the credential does?
That goes back to my earlier point on there seems to be some kind of a bias against non-degree. So although the non-degree holders can be similar in skills with a degree holders or correct and better, they still don't get the same kind of opportunities. And it also depends what the credential really represents, right? So some non-degree credentials like ACCA or perhaps AWS certifications are actually more in demand by employers compared to a degree. So for example, even computer science degree graduates have a hard time looking for a job until they go for these industry certifications.
Right. Great perspective there. But, then again, Jared, if a degree is truly necessary, how do you explain, thriving entrepreneurs, coders, or, creative professionals who've built successful careers without one? Are they just lucky exceptions?
Yes, definitely. There are exceptions.
Okay.
And that's the key word. For every self-taught success story, there are thousands quietly building solid careers through the degree route. Singapore's job market is structured and competitive. Those exceptional cases prove alternative paths do exist, but they don't replace the reliability of a degree for the mass majority of people.
Okay, well, if that's the case, you really have to be a genius to survive in the workplace or get a job without such credentials. The government and many employers, though, they are promoting a shift to, skills first, right, hiring, emphasizing capability over credentials. So, Jared, just staying with you here, if degrees are supposedly so essential, why is the government itself pushing companies to drop qualification-based hiring?
I think what the government's stand is more, the skills first push is forward-looking, definitely, but it's opening more doors for people without degrees, but not closing the degree route for majority of the people. So in reality, most companies still shortlist by qualifications first, because degrees are a quick, trusted way to filter talent, and skills-based hiring complements degrees, but it hasn't replaced them in the short term, maybe for the mid to long term eventually.
Well, adding on to what Jared has said here, even as the government pushes this skills first agenda, companies still screen by qualifications. So, Ives, shouldn't we be honest that this ideal hasn't changed hiring practice and that a degree remains the most reliable passport to better opportunities?
Well, that situation is actually changing, slowly but surely.
Okay.
Singapore is not the first country to start the push for skills-based. The US have been doing it. And increasingly, we'll see more and more employers actually dropping the degree requirements, but listing the skills that they actually want to see from the job applicants and the candidates as well. So what's in place after that? Since you drop the degree, we still need to know whether this person can actually do the job. So some companies, especially the larger ones, are now directly testing the job applicants and the candidates whether are they capable of doing the job or not. So again, it takes a lot of resource, it's time consuming, but it's definitely a better, reliable way to find out whether a person is actually able to do the job or not. Right? And then to add, like talking about the passport, right? We use the analogy of a passport. So you probably have heard in the news that for Singaporeans, we actually don't need our passport to travel in and out of the country. So things will change, evolve. And so in place of the passport, what's then the verification, right? The proof. And then now there's even a more valid way, they scan the iris, which is more reliable way than a paper passport or even fingerprints.
I love how you added on to that analogy to defend your case here, Ives. Well, the report also found that the degree-holding managers and professionals are in jobs where the skills required become increasingly complex over time. So, Jared, complex skills, they evolve through experience, not in classrooms, right? Isn't it more accurate to say these professionals became skilled because of exposure and learning on the job, not because of their degree?
Experience is definitely where mastery happens, no doubt. But a degree gives you the blueprint. It's like learning the rules of the game before you play, like a cheat code, right? But people with degrees often pick up complex ideas faster, adapt quicker, and move into leadership roles earlier. The classroom builds the scaffolding, and the job site fills it in.
Okay. Well, the workplace is also, becoming more knowledge intensive and tech driven. So on the other hand, Ives, without the analytical and theoretical grounding a degree offers, how can someone compete in roles that demand, deep evolving expertise?
I think there's this assumption that only a degree programs will give you those analytical skills or theoretical skills, which is not true because you can learn this in various forms. You can even self-learn through credible websites or even books, start reading books on your own. And the thing is, degree programs, yes, they teach theory, but very often it just remains as theory. So there's no application or critique of the theory and what is produced out of those theory.
Okay.
So this requires application, which the evidence will come from applying it to a work situation, for example.
And it depends on the individual as well if they're willing to put in that effort to, study themselves.
Correct. Yes.
Well, I also want to ask the both of you, overall though, then, is the degree advantage proof of its value or a proof of employer laziness in assessing real skills? Jared, you want to go first?
It's definitely proof of value. So employers aren't lazy, they are practical. Degrees give them a consistent, standardized signal of ability. In a fast-paced market, they need quick, reliable ways to identify talent. And degrees do that job well.
Okay. Well, Ives, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's a mix of both.
Okay.
Yes, so it's a convenient shortcut because especially now with the economy is not doing well, job prospects are not so good. So for every job postings, you get thousands of applicants. So to actually filter out, requiring a degree is a quick filter, but that doesn't mean you get the best candidate for that job, right? In order to do that, you really need to put in the effort to find out the capabilities of the applicants, actually.
Okay. Well, since I've got some time left, I would like to ask a bonus question here. So let's say you guys are a hiring manager. Would you hire a brilliant non-degree coder or an average computer science graduate? Jared, what are your thoughts?
Well, honestly, I'll go with the degree holder.
Okay.
So how do you measure brilliance? It's hard and doesn't translate in team settings. It could be an individual who works well himself but not with a team. A degree gives me confidence that the person has a solid foundation, can work within teams, and adapt over time. So it's not just about talent, it's about reliability and scalability.
Oh, you give me a new perspective here to think about that. I thought you would choose the brilliant non-degree coder. All right. Well, Ives, what are your thoughts?
For me, it's a straightforward decision. It's whoever is capable to get that job done. That is, if it's within my budget.
Within your budget. Well, thank you so much both for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We've been speaking to Dr. Jared Zeng, who's a Senior Relationship Development Manager at OCBC Premier Private Client, and Ives Tay, Independent Workforce Development Consultant. This has been The Hot Seat, and I've been your host, Hongbin Jeong.
This is Money FM 89.3, Singapore's first and only business and personal finance station. Traffic.